The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 487 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Now, as a kid, I always thought every issue is a collector's issue.
Of course you did. And I love that the story itself is a flashback, so they could still have a comic with Han in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this might be the first cover to grace the image of Yoda.
And the gems are to be kept together. Do not separate them.
Remember that. Very important, you would think.
Are you ready?
Welcome to Neverland.
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! Do you think that you've contracted the Crimson Forever? Has your skin turned a crimson red? Have your life function slowed way down? If you've answered yes to any of these, please consult your nearest medical droid for help. But until then, we want to welcome you back to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who is now sharper and more brighter.
Yes, I am. We got a new camera, webcam, for our computer, which is why we're sharper and brighter today.
Well, you are. I'm still in a fog over there.
You're in a fog?
Maybe that's just me.
A red fog?
Maybe I'm just always looking at you, so I don't look at me.
Oh.
But I'm loving this new image.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you to all the Skywalkers out there who made this happen when you became part of the Skywalking Force.
Absolutely. All right, well, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, and pop culture fandom. So it's time for your weekly Wookiee hug and your little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. Now, we are live on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel right now. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and then hit the bell for notifications. Also, if you are watching right now, just give this little video a like if you would. That would be amazing. Really helps so other people can find us and we can become an even bigger Skywalker family. Now, last week, Richard, we're always asking for new YouTube subscribers because we're pretty close to 10,000 and we're trying to get there.
We're on the cusp, on the doorstep of 10,000.
Yeah. I mean, we passed 9,100 after all the conventions this past year. So what are we at now?
Well, last week we were at 9108.
Okay.
And we asked for 3 more to get us to 9111.
Okay.
Guess what the Skywalkers did? They got us to...
Whoa, 9128.
9120.
That's like 20 more subscribers.
20 more subscribers.
Yay!
From last week.
Oh, that's so great. And you know what? Last week we posted the Monkey Men episode, right?
Yes.
And that episode has over 1,000 views on YouTube alone.
No, last week was the Witches
episode.
episode.
The Witches episode. Okay, but yeah, the Monkey Men episode, which was 2 weeks ago, has over 1,000 views, which for one of our podcast episodes on YouTube, that is amazing. So yay for all the new Monkey Men subscribers, if that's who you are, if you're Monkeys fans.
We got a lot of witch subscribers.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are just really now into this Halloween season. Like if you joined us yesterday on Things We Want to Share, we shared our time at the Universal Halloween Haunt Night. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of people weighing in on that. We went to the Magic of the Jack-O-Lanterns. This week we're going to Not Scary Farm. So everyone is in high Halloween fever.
Mode. Yes.
They're in their Crimson Forever Halloween fever.
Although next week begins the Magic Key previews of Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Oh.
So we're gonna check that out too.
Yeah,
So that's not Halloween, but it's more stuff to do.
Yeah, we'll make it
share.
Halloween. We'll dress in Halloween
Oh
garb.
yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Then, as another update, we needed 3,800 more downloads last week to hit the 1 million podcast audio-only downloads.
Wow.
We needed 3,800 to hit the 1 million mark. Now we just need a little under 1,500.
Whoa!
That was a big week. People liked them witches.
Oh my goodness! They did.
They like the witches and they like the monkeys.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So hopefully,
So maybe by next week we'll get to that 1 million mark.
either that or like by Halloween.
Okay, I think we'll do it.
Yeah, Halloween is only in 16 more days.
Okay.
If only there was a countdown song to go along with this.
Oh no.
Here it is.
No.
Here
No,
it is.
no. Ah!
Say you love it. Say you love it, and I'll stop it. Say you love it, and I'll stop it.
Love it.
Okay, fine.
No.
Gotta keep on listening to it.
No. No.
Say it.
Stop.
Say it.
Stop.
Say it.
No, I don't love it. I don't love it. See, there you go.
Okay, for our anniversary, which is coming up in 10 days,
Okay.
I will stop it just for you.
Okay, good.
There you go. Anniversary present giving is complete.
All right. Well, in this episode, we will break down issue 50 in the classic Marvel Star Wars comic series, The Crimson Forever. Luke has come down with a deadly virus, and it's up to Leia, Lando, and Chewbacca to save his life. And if only they, like us, can keep track of the red jewels,
That's a pretty big ask.
we can't wait to get into this issue that brings together the full Star Wars cast of characters. It's very exciting.
Yeah, okay. Now, do you know what else is exciting?
What?
To let everyone know that we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world or on a Disney cruise. And best of all, this service is free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you, or give them a witch's cackle like this. They'll know what you're talking about. No, they won't. They'll be very confused.
All right. Well, we are recording this episode from Long Beach, California on October 14th, 2024, nearly halfway through this Halloween month.
Oh, don't say that. No, pull back. I don't want it to be over.
That's why we're going to Not Scary
That's
Farm
very true.
this week.
Yeah,
we're going to soak it up.
Wring all the Halloween funness out of the season.
Yes. All right. So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, 23 years ago today, seems like only yesterday, The Phantom Menace is released on DVD.
Ooh.
That was released on VHS a year earlier, but this is the DVD.
Okay.
Now, this is the first Star Wars film to be released in this format. That's why it is so important.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
And this was the very first DVD that I ever bought.
Really?
I bought
really?
I bought a DVD player just for this.
Wait, what year was this? 2001? You didn't have a DVD player before this?
I was all about VHSs.
Oh my gosh. I think we got a DVD player in 95. Anyway, go ahead.
No, you didn't.
It was like mid-90s.
Knowing your dad, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
No, we got like a whole, anyway.
But I was going to get a DVD player, but I knew that Phantom Menace was coming out, so I was going to hold it back. Wait until this day.
Okay.
Now, this 2-disc set features scenes that were re-edited by George Lucas. And this made it much longer than the theatrical cut. Because, George Lucas, I ain't happy with this, so I'm going to edit together some more scenes and add more. Like the pod race was much longer.
Oh, wow.
And when I'm watching this on DVD, I'm thinking, wait a minute, that wasn't in the theatrical cut. I was going crazy because we didn't have any kind of websites out at that point to really break everything down, or YouTube videos. I'm sure they were out there, but they weren't as vast as they were today. So I was confused and didn't read up on what was added. But one of the highlights is the Anakin fight with Greedo.
What? Oh, wow,
Yes,
with the
yes.
young Greedo.
The
like,
young
okay.
Greedo, yes.
Oh, wow.
Now, George Lucas insisted that this character in The Phantom Menace was Greedo. Because after the pod racing scene, Anakin and Greedo are fighting because Greedo is telling Anakin that you cheated. You cheated in this race. And they get into a big fight, which Qui-Gon Jinn has got to break it up. And George Lucas said, no, this character is Greedo. But this conflicted with established expanded universe history, and a retcon was put in place that this Rodian was Greedo the Elder.
Oh, okay.
Greedo's father.
Okay, wow.
So you know, George Lucas, you can write whatever you want out there, but I'm going to do whatever I want, and you guys got to catch up.
Okay.
So Lucas said, I don't like that. So he put Greedo in a Clone Wars episode as an adult, which makes sense with this timeline.
Oh, wow.
So Lucas put a big X over this retcon.
Okay.
So what do we learn?
That
Lucas's word is gospel.
Yes.
If he says this is the character, this is the character.
Okay. Well, this just in from Meredith. DVD players came to the U.S. Black Friday 97 is what she remembers.
Wow.
And we definitely had one in 97. And the first movie we watched was Back to the Future, followed by GoldenEye. I remember distinctly GoldenEye had like just come out on DVD.
Yeah, and well, your father being at the forefront of all technology, where
Yes.
I like my VHS players, because I had a big VHS collection, so why start all over again?
Yeah.
But when it comes to the Phantom Menace, I was going to restart my collection. But seeing how this had all this new footage on it, I'm sold. I am sold.
Nice.
And at this time, the Phantom Menace DVD was the biggest seller of all time. It doesn't surprise anyone. And I recall my friend living in an apartment building, and when I was walking up to see him, about 5 TVs had the Phantom Menace playing. People would just open up their windows, so you walk by and they're watching the Phantom Menace, they're watching the Phantom Menace, they're watching, and I felt so happy that everyone got this DVD.
Aww, that is so cool.
Yeah. So 23 years ago today, once again, seems like yesterday. All right, now, Sarah, put that N95 mask back on, quarantine yourself, so you can watch or listen to the unfolding of
The Crimson Forever.
Skywalking through classic Marvel. Skywalking through classic Marvel comics.
Classic Marvel Star Wars comic issue number 50, The Crimson Forever, is a very unusual take on a standard issue in the storyline, because it takes place over 3 chapters.
Ooh.
Usually you have just one story, but this is a supersized issue. And if you notice, this issue is a whopping 75 cents.
Whoa!
Yes.
How much were they usually?
Usually they're 50 cents.
Oh boy.
So back in 81, a quarter, that was a king's ransom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in celebration of Marvel Comics' 80th anniversary, a reprint of The Crimson Forever was published on May the 1st, 2019. Now, you're probably wondering, wait a minute, it's the 80th anniversary of Marvel Comics. Why not release the 80th issue?
Right.
Were you wondering that?
Yes.
I have an answer.
Oh.
Well, Marvel reprinted this one because a sequel to the story was published 33 years later in issue 108 on May 29th, 2019 as Forever Crimson.
Oh, so they made up a story to go along with this?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So having reprinted this issue made sense.
Right. Okay, so here. So first of all, this is the issue that we're going to talk about today. But here on YouTube, we're showing slides that you'll be able to see everything. This is Forever Crimson.
Yes, this,
wow.
Is the comic that came out in 2019 as a sequel.
And is that Valance?
That's Valance the Hunter.
Ah.
This issue, they brought back everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yes. I can't wait to get into this one.
Awesome.
Now, really, they should have made this issue 108. Instead of 108, let's call it 50.5.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because 108, you
Doesn't
would think
have
it's
a
a
ring to it.
continuation of the finale issue that came out in '86. Or they could have made it like another annual. Star Wars had 3 annuals. This could have been like a 4th annual. Well, the annuals took place outside of the storyline, so that wouldn't have worked.
Well,
so make it issue 50.5.
Right. It should be issue 51 if it's
Well, there is
after...
already a 51.
Okay.
You go up to 107.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the original 80s run went to 107.
107, yes.
And because this is it should be 50.5.
Yes.
Because that's where you're supposed to read it in the timeline.
Exactly.
Okay, I got
We'll
it.
look into that in a few more minutes, okay?
Okay, all right.
Now, as we read through these classic Marvel Star Wars comics, I'm going to share memories of reading these comics as a kid and get you caught up with these characters and situations that every Star Wars fan must know, because as we've noted in the past, there are several connections and parallels to the current comics, TV shows, novels, and in this issue, we start to see Luke's distrust of his Jedi Masters.
And there's some fun connections to current Disney Plus Star Wars shows.
Yeah, and if you know these classic Marvel Star Wars comics, you can start to pick these little parallels out, which makes it much more fun.
It does. All right, and now I am reading these comics for the very first time, sharing my 21st century response to these comics, as well as my artistic thoughts. And I love comparing the different styles of art that various artists bring. You know, the comics are forever changing their artists and what works on which comics. So I love seeing these different artworks.
Yeah, there's many different artists, and you can tell.
Oh yeah.
Especially in this issue here.
You can tell when there's a new artist.
Yes.
Or someone who hasn't worked on it, you know.
One who says, you know what, I'll just use reference photos and illustrate, which that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
But there's also a certain charm for how the first 40 issues were done. There's a certain charm to that.
It depends on your perspective.
Right.
All right. Well, let's give you a summary of Crimson Forever. Okay, I'm gonna hope I'm not gonna mess that up. Okay, so the color comes first.
Yes.
Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
Crimson Forever.
Yes. Whereas the other one is Forever Crimson.
Right. Stop saying that one.
I probably shouldn't have just said that.
Yes. Okay. Crimson Forever. Okay. Here is a summary. Luke Skywalker has contracted a deadly virus known as the Crimson Forever from a large red crystal. Roll credits. This virus leaves its victims with blood-red eyes, red skin, and slows down your life functions until it just kills you. Now, Leia remembers a story that Han told her about red crystals and summons Lando and Chewbacca back to their new base. Chewbacca retells the story of how he and Han were captured and forced to retrieve the crystals from a temple. This story may hold the answer to saving Luke's life from this deadly illness. Will Luke be saved in this issue that's between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi? Will he die?
There's a good chance he might. There's a good chance he might.
I don't know what's going to happen. All right. So once again, this is issue number 50. It was released on May 19th, 1981. It's my birth year. It was written by Archie Goodwin, artwork by Al Williamson, Walt Simonson, and Tom Palmer.
Now, the cover art is by Tom Palmer. Let's take a look at that here. And here we see the full collection of heroes.
Yeah.
This is a supersized Star Wars Saga giant 50th collector's issue.
Oh, big words right next to the Star Wars logo.
Now, as a kid, I always thought every issue is a collector's issue.
Of course you did.
Yeah, but they had to throw that in there just to go, oh, I must get this now because it says collectors on it.
Right, that wasn't directed at you as the kid. That was directed to like maybe older people who are like, oh, collectors. Okay, I'll get this one.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now here we see all of our heroes: Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Lando Calrissian, R2-D2, C-3PO, Yoda, Ben Kenobi, and Han Solo and Chewbacca. They appear in a clear Epcot-looking ball. Why?
Or a hamster ball.
We'll know soon enough.
Yes.
Now, the Empire flanks them off to the side with Darth Vader's helmet and several stormtroopers. This is a powerful, powerful cover. So, Sarah, what is your reaction to this cover?
Okay, so first of all, I want to invite anyone who is watching live on YouTube or the other streaming services to share your thoughts on this cover. All right, so for me, to me, it's kind of a muddy cover. There's so many characters on here. It's hard to find a focal point. I know that all the lines and stuff are kind of pointing to Han and Chewie in the center of the cover, right underneath the Star Wars logo. However, they're smaller than everyone else. So I don't know. If this was sitting on a comic rack, my eyes would just gloss over it because there's no big character to glom onto. But if I do take the moment to study it, I do like that all the lines add depth and movement, like the shadows underneath Leia, Luke, Lando, C-3PO, and R2. They're in the form of like lines that are drawing your eye to the center of the comic. Likewise, on the sides, you have the Empire. Darth Vader's helmet is like made up of almost like these lines, and they are also pointing to that center. So, I mean, it's good movement, but it's just muddy to me.
Yeah, I hear you there. It's a very powerful cover because it looks like all these characters just zoomed into position, judging by those fast streaks. That gives it a lot of energy. And this cover really stands out because it has all the characters. Look at them all. The main cast is there. Some characters were left out, but we'll get to that very, very soon. And I've got a rant about that. And I like the fact that Han and Chewie, to me, they are the focal point.
Okay.
You said there wasn't really a focal point, but to me, your eye goes right to Han and Chewie. And at this moment in time, Han wasn't in many issues except for flashback issues or an annual. But this, to me, as a kid looking at the spinner rack and seeing this comic, it's like, oh, this issue's got Han Solo in it? How? I want this. I need this. I'm not a collector, or maybe I am a collector at this point, but I need it because Han Solo is in it.
That makes sense because at this point, again, it's right after The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Han is in carbonite.
Yes, so Marvel's like, hey, you just took away our fan favorite character.
Right.
So we need to bring him back any way possible. And if we can put him right in the center, so much the better. Now, like you, I think this is a very muddy cover. I just wish they didn't use brown as their base, seeing how most characters are in that tone color family. Look at Chewbacca's fur. It's a brown. Ben and Yoda's robes, brown. Lando's cape, for some reason, is brown. There's a lot of brown all over. C-3PO is very, very muddy gold. It would be more fitting if this were like a gold issue.
Oh.
Seeing how it's the 50th issue.
Absolutely.
Let's celebrate the 50th color, which is gold. Make it more of a gold. Maybe they did make it gold, but in the printing process, this is what we got. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a big departure. In fact, hold on just a moment. I'm going to get something.
Oh, even Luke Skywalker in his Bespin outfit is that khaki, which is in that same brown family. So if this issue didn't sell as well as the others, I could see why, because it just blends in. But having that Star Wars logo be in blue and white, that really calls to you. All right, now, while Sarah's going to get something, I'm going to read the Facebook comments. As always, we want you Skywalkers to be part of everything that we do. We put the cover art out on our Facebook group and our Facebook page. We ask the Skywalkers to go nuts. What do you think of this issue? Sarah, what you got?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to share, like, a cover like this really draws the eye in. You have, like Leia right there, super big. Her head is coming on top of the Star Wars logo, like that. Even my birthday issue, where you have Leia and Vader, and there's like pops of pink on that cover, is really cool. Oh, yes.
We just happen to have these posters here. Now this Riders in the Void, this really pops out because look at that red contrasting background.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. This didn't have a contrasting background.
Right. Hold on. Do you have the one? No. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, compare that to a cover like this. It definitely doesn't pop as much. So
all right, now let's see what the Skywalkers have to say. And if you're in the Sky Chat right now, please jump in with your comments. Adam O'Brien comes in with a hey.
Yes, but Meredith says that Han jumping is the first thing I see. Yeah, it does.
Your eye goes right to Han Solo.
Looks like he's a tiny Han jumping.
Oh, he's in the background.
I know, he's in the background.
All right, Rex Gordon says, OMG. This is the issue that kicks butt. We get to see Han and Chewie rocking it. Look at the cover. We have old Ben and Yoda and Vader too. So you know it's amazing. 50 is a big milestone for sci-fi comics in this era.
I didn't even notice on the very far left. That's Obi-Wan, huh? Obi-Wan and
not
Yoda.
Obi-Wan, but Ben Kenobi.
Oh, that's
Ben
right.
Kenobi.
Yeah.
And Yoda. Yeah, they're really pushed off to the side.
Yeah. Matt Schott says, "This is where the fun begins."
One of the greatest Star Wars quotes ever. Glenn Stein says, "I hope the characters on the cover appear inside this issue."
You're not wrong, Glenn. Because sometimes they don't, or they're in a different...
Or they're in it for like half a panel.
Exactly. All right, Scott Hume says, "What a great cover. I love it when these covers feature so many of the main characters. Even Yoda made it. And I love that the story itself is a flashback, so they could still have a comic with Han in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi."
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this might be the first cover to grace the image of Yoda.
Oh. We'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I think this is the first one. All right, Alazara and Derek, who I think are in the Sky Chat right now, they say, "I can't wait."
Yay.
All right, I can't wait either, Sarah.
I can't wait.
Let's jump right in.
Okay, here we go.
We will start with Chapter 1, The Crimson Forever.
Now, once again, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, we definitely recommend that's the way to go, because we're going to share each page of this comic as we go and talk about the story.
And you gotta really look at this art. This artwork is just amazing.
It really is. All right, so the story opens as the Millennium Falcon races away from a fleet of TIE fighters. And we have this beautiful splash page, which has a huge title card that says, "The Crimson Forever" in, you guessed it, crimson, with a yellow background. So it really pops. And you see space. Several planets hang in the background and the foreground, and streaking out of the middle of the page, coming right at you, is the Millennium Falcon. And there are 2 explosions behind it, and the artwork is just really amazing. There's great depth to this panel, and there's even a red planet in the foreground, like it's just giving great depth. And so the dark black space really contrasts well with the Falcon and explosions because their most prominent color is white. So black and white really stands out. And the planets surrounding them are these soft blues, yellows, and pinks. So you really notice that Falcon. All right, and here the narration explains that getting around the galaxy used to be simple. But now, since the Emperor has declared martial law, it is necessary to go the long way around just to get from system to system to avoid Imperial entanglements.
Right now, inside the Millennium Falcon, Lando is doing his best to blast those blasted TIE fighters. He says to Chewbacca that it seems like the whole galaxy doesn't want them to reach Tatooine and rescue Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt. I'm not sure who this Jabba the Hutt is, because they spelled it H-U-T.
Oh, no!
Okay, we're 4 years into this, Marvel. Why can't you spell Jabba the Hutt the correct way?
Oh my goodness.
Lando continues to remind the reader that it was his fault that he turned over Han and that they're in this mess. Now, he says that he is responsible for betraying Han into the hands of Jabba's bounty hunter, Boba Fett. What's wrong with that sentence?
He's responsible for betraying Han
into the hands of Jabba's bounty hunter. Jabba didn't hire him.
Oh, no, Darth Vader did.
Hired Boba Fett.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Yeah, you're right. And now they took one page to kind of reference what had happened in Empire Strikes Back, which I appreciate, just to catch the reader up. But I just feel like this entire page has a beautiful layout. Like, as a comics artist, you have to really be adept at creating characters, but also the layout of a page is very important because if you're like me and you're a book reader, it's really hard to like, okay, what do I read first? What do I read next in a comic book? And the way this page is laid out, it's easy to see the word bubbles progression and where to read it. So I really appreciate that. And it also has a good mix of long shots of the ships fighting, the TIE fighters with the Falcon, and close-ups of Lando and Chewie in the cockpit.
Yeah, it's a very, very nicely laid out page.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, just when things are looking bad, a blockade runner suddenly appears and blasts away the remaining TIE fighters.
That's a really cool panel at the bottom of that page.
Yeah.
When the blockade runner streaking in with its like 8 engines. Mm-hmm. Is that what that is?
Yeah, this one's got 6 engines.
Is it 6?
Oh, no, 8. You're right.
Yeah,
8.
8. There's 4 on top, 4 on the bottom.
Okay, I didn't see the ones on the bottom.
Yeah, that's a really, really cool panel. Wow.
All right, now,
All right.
aboard the blockade runner, Princess Leia calls out to Lando and says that something terrible has happened. Terrible enough to have him and Chewie abandon their search for Han.
Oh, no.
This is going to be pretty bad. Leia brings them to the new rebel base on the volcano planet Galrath. I would have freaked if this had been Mustafar.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is the polar opposite from the ice planet of Hoth
Okay,
from the last rebel base.
Now, if it was Mustafar, I think Vader would have sussed out that maybe the rebellion is hanging out on this planet.
Who chose Mustafar? Did you not see Vader's castle a block away?
Yeah.
What is the matter with you people? Let's go to Galrath.
Yeah. All right. So I just want to say here that Leia, who can sometimes be rendered very scary in this comic. She's very busty or curvy. Sometimes she's rendered with like these really super high cheekbones and these crazy eyebrows that are like vampire eyebrows. You know, they have a huge, what is that called? Not curve, but a huge arch to them that like is very pointy. Not here. It's a very soft look of Leia. And she looks very good. And she looks almost like Carrie Fisher, I would say.
She has her hair buns.
Yeah, she
back to the
does.
Star Wars look.
She does have her hair buns, but her Hoth outfit.
Yeah.
Like her Hoth.
Oh, yeah.
Little
the vest. And that white.
The white jumpsuit.
There
you go. Yeah.
All right. Meredith is jumping in on behalf of Marvel.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Vader rounded up the bounty hunters, but Jabba did have a bounty on Han, and Boba was always planning on collecting it too. So it's not wrong. It's just clumsy. So Jabba did put the debt on
Han.
The price on his head.
Right.
But
Vader was the one who contracted with Boba.
Yeah.
For this particular one. So
yeah. So you know what?
Okay.
We're all right.
But Boba was like,
Marvel.
"Oh, 2 for 1. If I get Han, I'll tell the Empire that I have it, and then I'll bring it back to Jabba." So yeah. Okay.
All right. Now, the base is hidden in a crater of one of the planet's largest volcanoes.
Yeah, and then a city-sized structure is anchored in a sea of molten lava.
I would not want to have my base in the middle of a crater surrounded by molten lava. Once again, who's in charge of this? Who arranged this?
I don't know. But inside R2 and 3PO, they're happy to see that Leia has found Lando and Chewie.
All right, now, Lando's got a really funny line. Everyone's quarters come equipped with hot and cold running lava. That's hard to say, but it's a very funny line.
It is. I like it a lot. All right, but here, laying on a medical bed is Luke Skywalker, who's being taken care of by medical droid 2-1B. Yay,
he's
2-1B's back.
I love 2-1B.
Yeah, he's cool. And Lando notices that Luke's eyes are completely red. It's very creepy. And then Leia tells him that's how it begins, the Crimson Forever.
Roll credits.
Yeah. Now, I do want to bring up some bits of narration here that this is a magma smelting planet. Magma smelting. What is magma smelting, I asked myself. And so I looked it up what smelting is. Smelting is extracting metal from ore by heating it to a high temperature. So here they just used the magma to heat up ore so that they can extract the metal that they need from it.
Oh.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes, it does. Hey, look who's in the house. Rex Gordon.
Ooh,
we were
good job, Rex. We're only like 2 pages in, so you're good. One way out.
What? Yeah, don't jump in this lava. This is not a river. It's not the sea.
I can't swim.
All right, now Leia thinks the Crimson Forever came to them courtesy of the Empire. Now, in a flashback, we see that Luke led a patrol to investigate a Star Destroyer that suddenly appeared in this sector. Luke finds it odd that they haven't attacked, and he says to his wingman, according to R2-D2, back in the droid slot. All right, I think the other pilots at this point know where the astromechs are located.
Yeah, what the heck was that for?
Yeah, so he says he's not getting any life form readings. So Luke and the other pilots enter the Star Destroyer only to find that the crew is dead and their skin has turned crimson colored.
Oh.
Luke says even their eyes all open, staring like they were staring straight into the forever.
Ugh. All right, so here the rebels have infiltrated an Imperial ship and they see all these people with red skin. Well, this is reminding me of Andor, when Cassian, as a boy, Casa, was on his planet.
Oh, nice.
And his tribe went to the downed Republic ship, and they found everyone came out of it with bloated yellow bodies and yellow skin.
Wow.
And most were dead.
A good connection.
Yeah.
Good connection.
I thought that was a cool.
Yeah, this is a
cool connection.
It's a very cool connection. All right, now Luke tells the others not to touch the bodies, and he has a bad feeling about this. Just then, one of the pilots says that they have found a jewel in the ship's lab.
Wait, is it red?
Let's find out.
Okay.
It turns out the Crimson Jewel has transmitted an infectious virus, which a pilot has already contracted.
Oh, no.
Oh, this would have been appropriate in 2020. Now, the crew blasts away from the Star Destroyer, and Luke tells Leia that they will all need isolation chambers when they return.
Ugh, bad. All right.
Now, back to present time, Leia tells Lando that Luke is the only survivor and that it was probably his way with the Force that has enabled him to fight this virus. She says that she sent a robot inspection and the jewel is so totally alien that it's beyond their ability to scan.
Ooh.
And they don't want to blow up the Star Destroyer since they don't know if that will cause the virus to mutate
Right.
or become something even worse.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense,
You don't know
yeah.
what's happening. This alien thing is like controlling. Who knows? Again, this is set between Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and we know that Luke is coming back for Return of the Jedi.
Oh, spoiler!
So, as a storytelling note, I feel like if Luke is the only survivor, and our question here in this comic is, will Luke survive? Well, obviously he will survive. So I feel like they should have had his other rebel pilots or whoever be on the brink of survival.
Wedge Antilles.
Yes! Oh, that would have been great.
Next, we don't know if he'll be returning in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah, there should have been a few other rebels on the cusp of life and death.
Yeah, but for me, I know a lot of people will complain about a movie like, let's say, Solo, that, oh, we know nothing bad's going to happen to Han Solo because he comes back in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the journey.
Right.
And for Luke here, it's like, what happened? How did he get this? And let's see how he rebounds.
Right. And I understand that. I just feel like they could have added more people in there where it was really a question of life and death.
Would the tension be so high for someone like Wedge? Because at this point, he wasn't really that standout background character. And who will the reader be most attached to emotionally? But Luke Skywalker, the star of the whole saga.
Okay.
So, yeah, I give him a pass on that.
All right.
All right, now Lando comments that they can't be certain that the Empire isn't importing more of these jewels.
Uh-oh.
And Leia responds that this is why she went out looking for them, especially Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at that bottom frame down there. Looks like Chewie is very, very happy. He looks like a dog when you tell him he's been a good boy.
He's got a blue nose.
Yeah, a big
Why
blue
is his nose blue?
I don't know.
But he does. It's very cute. He's like, oh, yay. All right. Leia says that Han once told her about a misadventure which took them beyond the known galaxy, and it involved a treasure of 2 huge red jewels. Beyond the known galaxy? Okay, now wait a minute. Now this, what series does this make you think of?
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka. And so Beyond the Known Galaxy was a thing before the Ahsoka TV series? And did they get this red gem from Peridia? I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, not being a big reader of the novels or a lot of the comics, I don't know how many stories took place out of this galaxy, out of the Star Wars galaxy.
Well, I know that like the Yuzong Vong in the Jedi something series, they came from the different galaxy and started to invade. So I guess it has been a part of it, but when our heroes go to the unknown galaxy, that's a difference.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, this story that Leia is referring to, well, this sets off Chewbacca. He is in a rage.
Yep.
Now, C-3PO explains that apparently Captain Solo had promised never to mention that particular episode.
Uh-oh.
Leia pleads with Chewie to tell them what happened so she can see if there's any connection to the Crimson Forever. And Chewie agrees, and 3PO comments that I knew he was basically a good sport, even if he does insist on always winning at holographic chess. You always got to connect to these films at some point.
Yes.
All right, now, okay, let's comment on some of this art.
Okay. Yeah, so far it's really good.
It's on point. I think they're more illustrating than drawing, which means that they're just tracing a publicity picture. So or they're copying a publicity picture. Like, go to the next slide here.
Okay.
See, here we have Chewbacca in a rage, and we look at this still of Chewbacca in a rage in the Cloud City cell.
Yes.
That alarm's going off and it's bothering his ears.
Right.
That's taken right from that.
Yeah, it looks good. Now, I don't think they trace. I think they just, look at the picture and draw it, which is what I would do. Like, an artist can do that.
Okay. Or they have like a light board. And
possibly.
I don't know, but I would like to think that they would do this freehand while looking at this reference picture.
Yeah. I mean, it is hard to animate fur, so it makes sense that they would use this reference picture to see, that's how his fur kind of flops.
Yeah.
When he's raising his arms up. Yeah.
Look at this next one, too.
Okay. Ooh, it's reversed,
yes.
but Chewie is looking at 3PO he's in the confinement of Cloud City, and he's trying to put 3PO back together.
He's in that cell, and you juxtapose that with the panel where Chewie is looking at Leia, but it's that same pose.
It is. It's cute.
Now, there's a ton of these illustrations in this comic that take from stills or parts of the movie, but these two here really just stuck out to me. And I'm glad they're doing this, because you know how long it's taken for them to get Chewbacca, right? Or even R2 and 3PO. They're finally looking like R2 and 3PO.
Yeah, same, right proportions. Yeah, all that stuff. Exactly. And I really like that at this point in the story is revolving around Chewie, because he's usually relegated to a sidekick role. But now the path forward really depends upon him, because Han isn't here. So it's all Chewie. Go Chewie.
Now, as the group moves to a quiet spot where 3PO can translate Chewie's story, there is a strange activity in the medical ward. Activity that takes place within the virus-tortured mind of Luke Skywalker.
Who is naked from the waist up.
Yeah, he's looking very Kylo.
Yeah, there's a swirling image of a bare-chested Luke, and he stands ready to fight Darth Vader in a red mist. And their lightsaber blades, what do they look like, Richard?
They're very sharp and jagged.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they're not true to life, because this is all in Luke's mind, so he's going to that dark place.
Also, side note, on the bottom left, you see this pixelated picture of Luke's face, and I feel like that looks like when he is just out of the Bacta tank, and he's like waiting, talking to Leia and Chewie.
Yeah, talking to 3PO before Leia comes in. Yeah,
yeah.
You're right. Wow, a good pick. And I like how they drew that. I'll stop saying illustrated. They drew that, showing that this dream is coming out of his head.
Yeah, it's a nice depiction there.
Yeah. Now, Vader, once again, tries to seduce Luke to the dark side or be destroyed. Suddenly, an image of Yoda and Ben Kenobi appear, and Ben advised Luke to go back. You're choosing the wrong path. Luke throws it back to them by saying, "How can I believe either one of you? You never warned me, never even hinted about Darth Vader's true identity." And Ben tells him, "We taught you to trust your feelings. Let them lead you to what is true and what is not." I love this. I love this part because it really begins Luke's journey of why he can't fully believe what his masters have been telling him, because there could be a flip side. Like, this is a lesson, or it's from a different point of view.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I like the lesson angle here more than a different point of view.
Okay.
Because a lesson is a teachable moment.
Right. Try to trust your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting how these words and this scene kind of mirrors what will eventually be a scene in Return of the Jedi, where Luke is questioning Ben. Almost the same story there. And I feel like the writers were very smart, because everyone wants a confrontation with Luke and Vader. It's very exciting. It's very picturesque. But I'm sure Lucasfilm wouldn't let that truly happen in the comics. So to have it be a part of a dream or a vision, it's awesome. It's like Darth Vader is representing the virus that Luke is fighting in his head.
Now, Luke has approached Vader in past comics,
Mm-hmm.
but to have a big lightsaber battle, the only way you could do this is in a dream.
Yep. I love it.
All right, then, like in Return of the Jedi, Luke throws down his lightsaber and refuses to kill Darth Vader. Just then, Vader slashes his saber. And I can't tell what's going on here. The striking motion appears to have gone around Luke, but how could that physically happen?
Yeah, it is really funny. It looks like a boomerang.
Yeah.
Like he threw the lightsaber around Luke, boomerang, boop, and it came back to Vader on the other side. But I want to say that Luke here, the moment that he throws down his lightsaber. Okay, so first of all, the previous slide, it's all washes of pinks and more pink with Vader in the red gem coming out of the red gem.
There's the pink again.
Yep. But when he throws down his saber, he is in cool tones. Like the background is yellow, but he is in these blues, which is like the opposite color tone. So by throwing down his saber, he's no longer fighting. He's cool. He's cooled off. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice contrast just using the color and imagery.
Boy, Marvel is really ahead of the game here.
Mm-hmm.
They're really predicting a lot of stuff from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Luke throwing down his lightsaber.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, this conversation with Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. The story just leads you in those directions.
All right, so we'll skip over the implausibility of that lightsaber boomerang.
Yeah.
Just then, Luke's crimson dream ends, as does Chewbacca's retelling of the story of the Red Jewels.
Because this begins Chapter 2, Chewbacca's story. Read it, Richard.
Rage in the Red Nebula.
So all of a sudden, it's like we have a new comic book within the pages of this comic book.
Yeah, but they're really going back to the story that Chewbacca told Leia and Lando.
Yeah.
That 3PO had to translate. So they're going back to that.
Right, which makes sense. But now all of a sudden you have this Han and Chewie comic sandwiched in between the pages of this comic issue 50. So very cool.
Yeah, this works, but I'm not sure why they didn't just have 3PO translate like he was with the Ewoks and then just cut to these panels.
Well, I think this brings the story to life, and you can do that in a comic.
You know, it's a whole new way of doing things, so I like new ways of doing things.
Yeah. So here, Han and Chewie had just completed a mission for the Rebel Alliance, and they're heading back to base. But suddenly, they come up upon 2 Star Destroyers. Han is admonishing Chewie for accepting this mission as a favor to Luke and Leia. Now, Richard, you have a note about Chewie's face here.
Yeah, as an extreme punishment to Chewie, the Marvel artist didn't give Chewbacca eyeballs for this panel.
He has like white discs in his eyes, but there's no black eyeballs.
Little white dots.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All right, well here the Falcon escapes and finds its way to the planet Terminus, which is a center for cross-galactic shipping. And wow, this is another big splash page. The black space is filled with ships and big facilities, and it looks very futuristic and cool. And I'm intrigued as to what the 4 round balls are at the bottom of the page. These
it's
4
like
balls.
4 connected Death Stars.
Yeah, they're like leading to perhaps it's like gas containers, like shipping gas or something. And I feel like the artist must have had fun creating stories in their heads while they did all these drawings of the shipping facility. Because that's what I do when I'm doing a big landscape.
Yeah, I love this panel so much. That ship over to the left looks like Galacticus's helmet from Fantastic Four.
Does. Oh my gosh.
And you know what? Terminus is a name that Lucas used in one of his prior Star Wars drafts.
Really?
Yeah.
For referencing what?
A planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure Marvel looked at some of these past drafts that Lucas had on hand and said, "Oh, you didn't use this name, so we're going to use this name."
Yeah, and Rex is calling out that the green thing in the center almost looks like the wheel. And yes.
Oh, you're right.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
I bet they just kind of utilized that design and changed it up a little bit.
Or maybe I feel like the wheel too.
Yeah.
And then off to the side, you see the Millennium Falcon zooming into the frame.
Oh, on the right side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it's fun. And each facility has like a different color scheme to it. So you have the Galactus helmet thing in pink. You have the wheel in green. You have something in blue. Yeah, it's very colorful and cool.
Yeah, good splash page.
Yeah.
All right, now, Han hides the Falcon in one of these spaceports, and he and Chewie plan to lay low for a while. Now, Han doesn't mind, since, as he recalls, this port offers some of the most delightfully wicked heel-cooling spots in the galaxy.
I'm sorry, what?
Delightfully wicked heel-cooling spots. Wow.
Wow.
Now,
that's a mouthful.
Okay, get ready for this next part. Because
okay.
he tries to remember the name of the cantina where those two swamp maidens danced.
What?
He's out for some...
Swamp maidens? Could someone not think of the name of Twi'leks at that point?
No Twi'leks here.
No.
But swamp maidens, what do you imagine those look like?
I feel like
swamp things. Put a wig on a swamp thing, and there you go. That's what you got.
I love it.
Now, out of the shadows comes a green-cloaked assassin who fires at Han and Chewie.
Yes.
But the most compelling part of this panel is that Jawa turtle down below.
What the heck?
There's a little turtle down there.
And what are they saying? Shh, put. What is that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's that Jawa.
Shapam. Watam. Shapam. Oh my goodness.
Is that the sound the turtle Jawa is making? It's a little turtle shell with bright Jawa eyes in the middle.
Yeah, it's very cute. Oh my goodness.
All right. Cut to Han and Chewie chained up with energy shackles as a droid wakes them up by splashing water in their faces. Rude.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, this is a very sensitive droid. He doesn't like being yelled at. And he tells them that this is the intergalactic bulk freighter Nova Prince. Yes. Sounds very Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Now, all the mercenaries and the pirate prisoners, they have all been pressed into service by going into the Red Nebula, which lies beyond the galaxy into the unknown.
Cue the music.
Yep.
Into the unknown. Okay, now this droid is a really fun character. Unfortunately, only appears in like this one page. But Han, in the vein of calling C-3PO Goldenrod, calls this droid Silver Treads. Oh, it's here. Can you read this dialogue here, Richard?
Okay, Silver Treads. We're sorry we woke up grouchy. A very appropriate line for Han.
It really is. I like it.
Right now, a holographic image of Klisk appears.
Yes.
Now, speaking of Halloween, he's a very vampire-looking guy who he's the spokesperson for the group that owns the vessel. And truth be told, he's like the only guy on this vessel.
Yeah.
And I think he's like a very Wizard of Oz character.
Oh.
Yeah, like I gotta go talk to the wizard now when it's actually him. And he tells them that if the prisoners work hard and cooperate, they will be rewarded that is unparalleled.
They will be rewarded with a reward that is unparalleled?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, whenever someone promises you that, you know that means like death.
You know that's a red flag.
Yeah. All right. Now, if they are disobedient, they will get a deadly ion charge with these manacles that are on their hands. Okay, does that remind you of anything in a Disney Plus series?
Let's go back to Andor.
And the prison, bare feet on a charged floor, is very similar to this electric band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, Klisk continues to tell them that he needs them to do what they do best, plunder and steal, since they are pirates and mercenaries.
Makes sense.
He then shows them a holographic simulation of the two prized red jewels. And Han says the obvious. Well, hold on. If you have a holo pics of something in the Red Nebula, then why do you need us? Why didn't you just get the red jewels while you were there? And Klisk cuts him off and says, yes, they've been there before, but they are exiles returning home, returning to make right the wrong done when they were driven away.
Oh, okay. Now that sentence, he's returning to make right the great wrong that was done when they were driven away. This sounds very much like Ahsoka, where the Night Sisters actually came from Peridia, from that exogalaxy, and then populated Dathomir. And now in Ahsoka, Morgan Elsbeth was spearheading the return to Peridia in that different galaxy. So it's like she's returning home, if you will.
Yeah. But, once again, that's a red flag.
It is. Okay.
It sounds too
story-wise.
Too personal.
Okay.
But hey, you know what? They're prisoners, so they've got to do what he says.
Yeah, otherwise they get electrocuted.
The Nova Prince jumps out of hyperspace into a field of racing comets and meteors. Han quickly offers his help in piloting the ship out of there.
Yep, couldn't do it without Han.
Han gets them through and heads for the heart of the Red Nebula, a planet that is very close to the white-hot sun.
Ooh.
Once again, another red flag.
Yeah.
Now, Klisk, who looks more like a vampire than ever. Look at those sharp fangs.
Yeah, he's got his mouth open and the very, very harsh shadows on the side of his face and sharp jaws and fangs. Also, he reminds me of Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. If you look at his imagery, he has very harsh shadows on his face.
And it's very universal horror movie monster lighting in the low angle.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Klisk tells Han that this system used to be part of his galaxy until the cosmic upheaval sundered it, and it now drifts into the void. So this used to be part of the Star Wars galaxy, but because of the cosmic upheaval, it somehow split away.
Okay.
Now they land on the planet's surface, and Klisk and the guards lead the mercenary prisoners across the rocky surface. Now they all lead up a mountain that overlooks a lush green field with a few temples.
Yeah, and while the rest of the planet is like a barren wasteland, there's this one little place that's lush green and fields. It's really pretty. And Klisk points out that the one in the distance, one of those temples, is their objective, and he tells the mercenaries that they can keep whatever they can find, but the great gems are to be brought back to him. And the gems are to be kept together. Do not separate them.
Remember that. Very important, you would think.
Now, attack! Attack! He shouts. Okay, so when he says that they can keep whatever they find, but the great gems are to be brought back, that reminds me of Beauty and the Beast, when Gaston is leading the mob.
Take whatever booty you can find, but remember, the beast is mine!
Oh, wow.
Kill the beast. Kill the beast, yeah.
Yeah, another good pull, sweetie.
Oh, Meredith is referencing Jafar as well with the Beauty and the Beast going into the Cave of Wonders. That's the first thought I had, Meredith, but I remembered that his dialogue reminds me of Gaston.
Now, as the prisoners run across the jungle environment, they are being blasted by a force shield.
Look at that top panel where some guy's being blasted. That looks very creepy.
That's the last we'll see of him. He's going to be evaporated. But Han and Chewie, they make it safely to the temple.
Wait, what? They made it safe?
They did. Yeah, they did. And there they spot the gems.
Yes.
Now, this could have been played out like the opening scene in Raiders with several booby traps for Han and Chewie. But this came out before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Wait a minute, this was
came out
May
in May,
81.
and Raiders came out
July?
June,
June
the next month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I think if Raiders had come out by this point, they would have added a couple more booby traps.
I think so. Wow.
'Cause it does call for that kind of sequence.
Yes.
All right, and then Han makes the mistake of saying that there is nothing to be nervous about. There's not even a guard in sight. Okay, don't celebrate prematurely.
Yep, but then, this little word bubble from off screen at the very bottom of the panel. What's it say?
Yeah, someone's back there and they're saying, that's not quite true, off-worlder.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's turn the page. It is a temple priest who says that he has seen the great life jewels tempt many. He then finds it necessary to explain that the gems fell to the planet during the awesome cataclysm, which severed their cluster of the galaxy from the main body and created this red nebula. And it is their belief that the gem's aura protects them from the destructive fate which seemed their destiny from the time of the cataclysm.
Did everyone get all that? A lot of exposition there.
Yeah, it was. Wow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, outside, the mercenaries are fighting an unseen enemy.
All right, now, here we go. Another Halloween call out. I love the one that looks like a werewolf right in the middle there. Now, as we know, there are werewolves in Star Wars from the one we see in the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Yeah. Look at that. They definitely referenced that photo right there.
Yeah, as a kid, my favorite monster was the werewolf.
Oh,
I love dogs.
Yeah.
So it was only appropriate that I loved werewolves.
That's cool.
So I loved this character, and immediately I thought of the Cantina werewolf creatures. Now Han tells the temple guard that they are about to relieve you of these two little beauties. Han, come on.
Yeah.
That's stealing, Han. That's below you at this point.
Yeah.
As Han goes to grab the gems, a laser blast just misses his hand.
Oh man.
Now, 3 of the prisoners, including the werewolf, and one that looks like Dr. Evazan from the Mos Eisley Cantina once again. Look at him. That is, it must be Dr. Evazan's brother, Dr. Evazo.
Yep. There's also one with a long snout, and this one looks like Man-Thing to me.
Yeah,
Look at that.
another swamp creature.
I know, it's so cool. Wow. All right.
Now, this scene almost plays like another scene in Raiders where Indy's guide, Satipo, turns against him.
No time to argue. Throw me the idol. I throw you the whip. Give me the whip. Adios, señor.
And we all know what happened to him. So these prisoners like, hey, you found the gems, but guess what? We're taking them from you.
Yep.
All right, now, the temple guard warns these off-worlders and says there's a reason why they don't have to be armed. They don't have to be armed because they have something else up their sleeves.
What's it gonna be?
The prisoners crane their heads up to see a blue, shaggy monster who is frighteningly huge, who acts as the gem's guardian. Ha ha! We don't need no stinking blasters. We have this thing. But before the prisoners can fire off a shot, the monster has them pinned and grasps them in her large hands.
Ooh.
After she makes short work of these prisoners, it turns its sights on Han and Chewie.
I love this panel in the middle of the page where the blue monster is just throwing the little guys around like rag dolls.
And once again, we get another creature for this. This should really be called the Halloween
creature episode.
the Halloween issue, yeah. All right, now, as Han grabs the gems, the monster grabs Chewbacca. The temple priest tells Han that the monster is a female and sees Chewbacca as a cub.
Oh,
I'm glad they stopped there.
My gosh.
I'm glad she didn't see Chewie as something else.
No, I laughed out loud when I saw this panel of the monster holding Chewbacca like a little doll. Like she wants to play with him. Like, look at that. It's so cute. She's like sitting down and she's got Chewbacca like in her hands like a little kid would have a doll.
It's almost like King Kong as he took his big finger and he was rubbing Fay Ray or Jessica Lange. Just kind
of like, who are you?
Yeah, who is this? And what?
This looks
You have fur like me.
Yeah.
But this is a beautiful blue they chose for this creature.
It is.
And unfortunately, they never gave this creature a name.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, now as the monster holds Chewie like a doll, Han tells his friend that he will go and deliver the gems to Klisk and negotiate a way out of this mess.
Han should know better. The priest warns Han of Klisk, and they are guided by what he believes is their truest, ultimate destiny. This sounds very cultish, Klisk and his people.
So the priest warns Han of Klisk because Klisk is guided by what he believes is their ultimate destiny, right?
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, we don't know what the destiny is.
Right.
But he's got a personal mission in all this. Now, Han returns to the Nova Prince ship and tells Klisk that before he turns over the gems, he's got a few demands.
Uh-oh.
However, Klisk tells Han that he knows that he dismantled the ion charges. So when they were going through the asteroids and the meteor showers, Han said, all right, move over, let me pilot. Han secretly dismantled the ion charges. And now he has the other mercenaries aim all the blasters at Han to retain the unparalleled reward. Still don't know what this unparalleled reward is.
That's right.
Now he takes the gems and tells Han that he could kill him or just leave him here. Either way, he's gonna die.
Right.
And one of the mercenaries shouts that the guardian from the temple is coming and they gotta get out of here really quickly.
Uh-oh.
The Nova Prince lifts off as the priest tells Han that he tried to warn him. Now he's doomed them all because now Klisk has got the two diamonds, the two jewels.
That's right. But Han stays behind. Han and Chewie are not on that ship.
Yeah, Klisk said, I'm going to leave you here.
Yeah, so the priest then tells Han that now without the sacred gems, that the planet will soon be destroyed, reduced to cosmic rubble like the rest of the nebula. He then brings Han to an underground shelter where he shows him this giant view screen where the Nova Prince is heading right for the sun?
Okay, where's this camera?
That's a good point. Yep. All right, now this is crazy. The ship bursts as it collides with the sun. And here the priest then explains to Han that this is why Klisk and his group were exiled, to prevent this very act. Klisk fanatically believed that all should have perished when the Red Nebula was split from the galaxy, and their survival was a defiance of their cosmic destiny.
See, I told you, very cultish.
Yes, but the priest and the others like him believed that the gems protected them from the cataclysm. Now, I love this panel of the ship blowing up by the sun. It's really spectacular. Now, but if the sun blows up, this planet that Han is on, wouldn't that also be destroyed?
Mm-hmm. All right, but you know what? Everyone's got something up their sleeve in this issue, and Han says that he's got a confession to make.
What is it?
He leads the priest into a grove near the valley's edge and shows him that he actually hid the gems that he substituted with rocks that he gave to Klisk.
And Klisk didn't realize?
No, Klisk didn't bother to open up the bag and go, wait a minute, these are rocks. What am I, Charlie Brown?
This is like what Moana does in the to Tamatoa in the realm of monsters. Instead of giving him the heart of Te-Fiti, she gives him a rock that's like covered with phosphorescent stuff.
Now, one of Klisk's mercenaries peeks out from the shadows. He had stayed behind and saw where Han had hid the gems, but unfortunately he had separated the gems, which killed this mercenary suddenly.
Right then? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, this is where things start to get really messy with these gems.
Yeah.
So the priest brings the gems back together in the temple as the big blue monster is cradling and kissing Chewbacca as she says her goodbyes. I'm surprised she let him go.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so let's start to keep track of these jewels now, okay?
Okay.
This is where things go off the rails. So right now, these jewels are back in the temple. Got it?
Okay, right. But this is a previously on story.
Yes.
So this is, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now here the priest gives Han and Chewie a ship, which happened to be there, who knows, and thanks him for unintentionally restoring their planet. Even though the sun is gone, I guess the planet's safe?
The sun didn't blow up, just the ship blew up. The sun was just too big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, the sun didn't blow up because they didn't have the red gems with
Exactly,
them.
yes.
Got it. Okay. All right, so the priest says it's a great relief that such a boisterous unbeliever is not residing in their midst.
You know what? Just say goodbye. Why with these backhanded remarks? Yeah.
Wow.
Now, with that, Chewbacca's story that Han never wanted to retold ends. So now, back in the present day, C-3PO, who has been translating Chewie's story, says that, of course, some of the things he didn't actually see that Han told him later on, which I was always curious about, because, like, wait a minute, Chewbacca is retelling the story, but he's retelling stuff that, wait, how do you know? You weren't there to see this.
Okay.
So
right.
they went ahead and actually fixed that by saying, yeah, this is stuff that Han told him later on.
Right, because Chewie was with the blue monster when Han was doing all that stuff.
I think that was a fantastic element they added to the story.
Okay.
Because a lot of stories don't do that.
Ah.
All right, just then, a rebel officer rushes in to tell Leia that Luke has just succumbed to the Crimson forever, just like the others.
Oh, no.
And there we have the end of Luke Skywalker as we know him.
Oh.
Chapter 3, Against the Scarlet Knight.
Yes, and this panel is fantastic. I love this Falcon streaking into the Crimson forever, I guess.
This is the Red Nebula.
Oh, the Red Nebula. There you go.
Yeah, so it's going back into, so it's going out of their galaxy back into the Red Nebula.
Yes.
Now they got to go back and find these gems.
Right. Okay.
All right. So, note to the listeners and the viewers, this chapter goes off the rails when it comes to keeping track of these jewels.
There's two.
Yes, as to who has them and where they are. So let's keep that in mind, okay?
Okay, so right now, one jewel, in the present.
Yes.
Let's keep tabs. So one jewel is I guess on the Empire ship when they had found a gem on one of that Empire derelict ship.
So the Empire has got one.
Right.
And
I guess they're going back to this Red Nebula to find the other one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go.
Okay.
All
right,
we tracked them so far. The
okay.
Empire has one, and so we don't know what the other one is.
No, we don't. Okay, so let's go find out. So let's happen.
Okay. Now, moving forward, the Millennium Falcon races into the Red Nebula to look for anything to counteract the Crimson Forever. Leia tells Lando that he came out of hyperspace too soon, and Lando responds that it was the Navicomputer that did that.
Oh.
Well, hold on. Did he just blame L337 for this?
Oh, yep.
Oh, come
yeah,
on.
He did.
Come on. You know what? L3 just saved your bony butt. So a little thank you wouldn't hurt you, would it?
No. All right, so Lando then points out that there's a ship between them and the nebula, and that's why the navicomputer stopped, because otherwise I guess they would run into the ship.
Thank you, L337.
Exactly. For some reason, Chewbacca thinks it is Slave 1. He has some like post-traumatic stress with that. You know, he's like, oh no.
All right, so let's call it what it is. Why does he think it's a Slave 1? Just to bring Boba Fett back into the story.
Oh, okay.
That's the only. There's no reason for him to think it's a Slave 1.
Yeah, Chewie imagines in pink.
In pink, there we go. There's the pink again.
What he would do to Boba Fett if it is him in that ship.
All right, now, as big of a character as Boba Fett was at this time, and still is, I'm curious as to why he wasn't on the cover of this issue. He was the new big character in The Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
So why not splash him on the cover?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's not like they were saying, well, he's only in one panel, so we can't. But
no,
who
they've
cares
done that
about
before.
that? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the ship is actually a House of Tag mining explorer. And it has been badly damaged. And Lando says that the ship seems to be a derelict.
Okay.
And Leia says that the Crimson Forever can sweep the whole galaxy like the fall of the night, so they can't bypass anything, even if this is a derelict ship.
Okay.
So the Millennium Falcon attaches itself to the Explorer, only to find the crew is all dead. Their red skin suggests they have been infected by the virus.
Yes. Now, thank goodness our team, when they go to inspect the ship, decided to wear their masks. They learned something from this
virus.
Pandemic virus. Yeah. Yep. All right. So who appears, sweetie?
Suddenly, we see IG-88.
What?
Another character from The Empire Strikes Back, which raises the question, why wasn't he on the cover too?
There was already too many people on the cover.
Doesn't matter. You know what? Take out the stormtroopers, put in these bounty hunters.
Yeah.
The bounty hunters, they were coming out with these action figures. We all loved them because they were so mysterious. I'm sure Marvel didn't care about spoilers, and it ties into The Empire Strikes Back, so why not add him in?
That would have been cool. Okay, so now we're assuming that one of the red jewels is on this derelict ship as well.
The mining explorer.
So now we've got the House of Tag ship jewel, and we have the Empire Imperial cruiser jewel.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, so now we know where the two jewels are.
Right.
Okay, we need
now.
like a big whiteboard.
Yes. Okay.
Now the bounty hunter droid leads them to Domina Tag.
I remember her.
A fan favorite character. I love this character so much.
Yeah, she's fun.
All right, I'm gonna get on my rant once again because
Okay.
Bosk and Dengar, they're holding blasters on Leia and Lando. Put them on the cover. If you had put these characters on the cover, I think they would have sold many more issues and would have given the cover more color.
I get it. Okay.
All right, now Domina reveals that she is pleased to hear that Luke Skywalker has fallen prey to what she's unleashed. She's the one that unleashed this Crimson Forever.
Okay.
And she reminds them that it was Luke and Vader who were responsible for the death of her brother, Orman Tag, and she swore that she would never forget or forgive that. And
okay.
Marvel was very nice enough to add that this took place in issue 37.
Right.
Whenever they refer to something in a past issue, there's a little box that says, look back at issue number 37.
Right. And so now she's out to get both the Empire and the Rebellion because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she says, a great loss deserves a greater revenge. Oh, I love this.
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
It really
no,
does.
No, don't put that on a t-shirt, no.
I guess not, yeah. Now, she explains that she set out to discover a power that could wipe out both the Empire as well as the Rebel Alliance, and she found the planet that housed the gems and destroyed the planet, driving off some giant creature.
I'm glad they said that the creature got away.
The blue creature,
yes.
Yeah. And then Domina did manage to capture the priest and got her hands on the red gems. So she did have both, but she unleashed one on that cruiser.
The Star Destroyer in the beginning, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. As her mining explorer was leaving the planet, they were attacked by a Star Destroyer dispatched by Darth Vader, as he had also learned of the powerful jewels. So she agreed to surrender them, and just as they had one jewel in their possession, the bounty hunters started firing on the stormtroopers. Now, the priest was caught in the crossfire,
which we never saw.
No, and he unleashed the second jewel. What does that mean, unleashed?
Well, there's a panel down below where
Okay.
he's on the floor, so with a big burn on his chest.
Oh.
He keeps these jewels in a canister, so he opened up the canister and the jewel comes floating out.
Okay. And so the jewel that the Imperials got was rigged, and it burst under the pressure of the hyperdrive.
Okay, stop right there. So we figured the first jewel was still on that derelict Star Destroyer from the very beginning. Because
Well, no, this is before that.
Oh, okay.
In time. So basically,
Chapter 3 comes before Chapter 1.
yes. Yes.
This is a very Lucas structured issue.
So this is how that Imperial Star Destroyer got derelict, was because the priest unleashed this gem and it destroyed under the pressure of the hyperdrive.
Well, I read this like 4 or 5 times and I never got that, but now that makes sense.
Yeah. But talking it over, this is what happened. Okay. All right. So now there's just one jewel, I guess. Domina reveals that she had given the Empire the location of the rebels' new base on Golrath, and now her revenge was set in motion. So we have, I guess, a damaged jewel, I guess it's damaged.
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
And so one damaged jewel on the Imperial Star Destroyer, which is heading for Golrath, which is the rebels' base. So now Domina is like, okay, I'm going to exact revenge on both the Empire and the Rebellion.
Is her plan to separate the jewels so it lets loose the virus to infect the crew on the Star Destroyer, only to have Luke find it and become infected?
I guess. I don't know how. I guess she talked to the priest, and that separating the jewels was going to release some virus.
Yeah, she does say that. She talked to him, and he just told her everything.
Okay. So I guess she has one jewel, and then there's one damaged one. Okay. So that's where the jewels are.
Okay.
All right. So Domina then, now we're back to the present. Domina tells her bounty hunters to take Leia and Lando's space suits, and she tells Bosk and Zuckuss to take the suits. Bosk and Zuckuss.
You know what I'm going to say next?
Yep.
Put them on the cover. For the 2019 re-release, they should have been on the cover.
Yeah. Now, we do have to say that at this point, like, Domina is in an area of the ship which isn't infected with the red virus at this point, but they need space suits to travel anywhere else. Now, Lando hands his helmet to Dengar and tells him that the suit malfunctioned, and now he will get infected by the Crimson forever. But Domina sees right through this and shouts that Lando's bluffing, but by this time, Leia and Lando have ducked into an airlock. All right, and Lando comments to Leia,
That's the trouble with bluffing as a gambling technique. Some unimaginable spoiler always wants to call you. Spoiler!
That's a weird turn of phrase.
Yeah. He's saying this as he's ducking into an airlock.
Yeah.
I can barely say that just sitting down.
I know.
Now, through the wall comlink, Leia tells Domina that Lando has opened every lock and chamber between here and the contaminated area. The blast door that separates them is all that protects them from the Crimson forever.
All right, so I guess Leia was stretching for time while Lando was kind of doing this on his little wristwatch or something.
Kind of like Poe Dameron in The Last Jedi. Yeah, I'm looking for Hux. I'll hold.
Oh.
Yeah, skinny, pasty, white guy. Yeah, I'll hold. Now, Domina shouts back that they still have one of the jewels, which means the Crimson Forever won't be stopped. And Leia says that she will send her gem out of the galaxy. What?
Wait, does Leia have a gem
I
now?
don't know. She will send her gem out of the galaxy.
Apparently, it's the damaged gem that the Empire had.
Wow, they need a flowchart.
Yeah. And Domina has this one. Okay.
Now Domina says that she's got one last card to play. She can undo the damage, including the death of Luke Skywalker.
Okay, what? Narration then reads, "The deal is struck. The drama shifts, moving light years, ... turn the page, from one derelict drifting out beyond the galaxy to another still within it." So basically, between this narration, what they've done is gone from Domina's ship to the derelict Imperial ship.
Yeah, the Star Destroyer that Luke entered in the very beginning.
Yeah, because they want to reunite the gems.
Yes.
Even though one is supposedly destroyed.
Wow. Where's the editor on this issue?
Yeah.
Come on.
So aboard the derelict Star Destroyer, Domina further explains the jewels as told to her by the temple priest. The jewels are actually mates, and as long as they're together, they radiate a sense of well-being, a positive physical aura. But if they are separated, that anguish and their aura turns negative, and that physical effect becomes the Crimson Forever.
These are like kyber crystals, how they're alive.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So now IG-88 reunites the jewels.
How?
I guess the one on the Star Destroyer wasn't destroyed, it was just damaged. But now, by reuniting them, they're better.
Because earlier on it said that the crystal that the Empire took was rigged, so when they went through hyperdrive, it exploded, but I guess that didn't.
I guess it's just damaged, not exploded.
Okay, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that, yes. All right, so she proves her theory that she would have been exposed to the virus by now on board the Star Destroyer. So she's healed herself somehow.
Okay, but you know what? Leia, she's all excited because Luke will survive.
What?
Yes,
He'll survive?
If we can trust Domina, Luke will survive.
Okay, let's cut to the medical wing.
All right, Luke is up and about and looking right at the reader like, hey, I'm back, and my hair has never looked so good.
He looks like right out of a 70s ad. Yeah. All he needs is like this Michelob beer in his hand. Oh. It's so funny. He's like, he's got his elbow on his knee.
He's looking very casual.
Yeah.
Like, hey, guess what? Gee, that hair smells terrific.
Yep.
That shampoo really works out. He says that a weird dream helped him figure out how to react. Now, the dream told him to trust his feelings. If Luke survives Vader in his dream, then he can survive the Crimson Forever.
I think what's more clear is that Vader represented the Crimson Forever in his dream, and he fought him.
I think that the dream says if you can fight the Crimson Forever, you can also fight Darth Vader.
Right.
But I think in the end, it's mind over matter.
Right. And so Luke said his dream was weird, and Leia responds, then it wasn't weird, it was wonderful. Wow.
Okay, now, sometime later, two vessels thunder away from the volcanic world of Galrath.
Okay.
One is an escape pod with Domina and her bounty hunters that was promised to her for helping to save Luke.
Okay.
And the other is an unmanned Star Destroyer heading for the Great Void beyond the galactic rim. The only passengers on the Star Destroyer, 2 jewels.
Right. As we've seen, the 2 jewels, I think the 1 jewel helped the other one that was damaged. So let's just go with that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, Leia, she's upset that she was bound to let Domina go after all the trouble she has caused. And Lando helps her feel better by telling her that he told the bounty hunters that the Empire may offer a substantial reward for Domina for her scheme involving her offenses against the Empire. And they seem quite interested.
Okay. Well, of course, bounty hunters just want money.
Mm-hmm,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I really like this second to last panel on this final page here, which mirrors the end of Empire Strikes Back, in which the characters look off into space, backs turned to the camera.
In the next panel, we see the heroes all freeze-framed, like in the end of every 80s sitcom.
Yeah, all smiling.
Yep.
Yep.
Which leads us to the end.
All right. Next issue, of course, is number 51,
Rebirth of Evil. However, we're going to jump ahead to issue 108, which is the follow-up to this Crimson Forever story with Forever Crimson.
On our next classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
Yeah, I don't want to wait until we hit issue 108. Let's do it while it's fresh in all of our minds.
Sounds good.
All right, so afterthoughts. Okay, this is a very messy issue. Yeah, a lot of stuff you had to kind of gloss over. A lot of stuff where I don't think it was edited to the best of its abilities. This is not the storytelling that we've gotten in the past. There was a lot of stuff that was just very, very messy when it came to these jewels and where are they and what's happening to them.
Yeah, in the past I have appreciated comics that are more streamlined, that follow like maybe 2 characters rather than try to follow so many.
Having jump back and forth and then forth and back, it got very, very confusing. And because of that, I don't think even Marvel knew where the gems were. So they said, just put it out. No one's going to be talking about this. But I am happy that Marvel did find a way to bring all the characters back together in one issue, even if it seemed forced, like Chewbacca fighting Boba Fett on Slave One. But they did figure out another way to bring back fan favorite Han Solo into the story, like in the Star Wars Annual 2 that we covered a little while back. They're doing whatever they can to get Han Solo back into the story, and they brought back Dom and a Tag. Now, yeah, so
I like that
yeah,
too.
so it is not my favorite issue, not even in my top 40.
Okay.
Just
okay.
because of
sloppy storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, honestly, when I first read this issue, I thought it was very exciting, full of twists and turns. Even though the ending didn't make sense and was a little abrupt, it was still exciting, and you got these really cool shots of Star Destroyers and Millennium Falcon in space in a red nebula. And I found myself especially getting very involved in Chewie's story about he and Han and their extragalactic adventure. That was my favorite part, and I feel like it was more the heart of the story. And you can't get better than a blue monster cradling Chewie in her arms. I mean, come on. So I thought that was great, and I really enjoyed the artwork, and I think that the artist using those reference pics really, really works. I mean, if you want to draw something to spec, it's good to have a reference so that you can make sure you're doing it correctly, and I feel like they should keep doing that because it was nice. And I feel like someone was having fun coloring space.
And the
issue.
planets, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even as a kid, I liked looking at these illustrations in this comic and go, oh, I know where they got that picture from. I know where they got that from. I know where they got that from. It was like a fun little game.
Yeah.
All right, now with all that said, let's do our favorites, okay?
Okay.
Our favorites and least favorites.
Favorite panel. I'm going to have two.
Oh, no fair.
I'm going to have two. Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, I want to call out on page 11, you have Vader in the red gem. And this is in Luke's dream, and I like the symbolic nature of this, and the Vader is pink coming out of this red gem. I mean, I know the gem is supposed to be red, but in the comic they really use pink more than red.
What kind of pink is that? Batman pink.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so that's my favorite character panel, but I have to say my favorite panel, I mean, the Millennium Falcon is a character in itself, but I love Against the Scarlet Knight when they go back. It's like the third part to this issue, and you have the Falcon on page 30 jumping towards the red nebula, and it's like space is like encroaching on the red nebula, and it looks really cool.
It's flying into like a rip in the galaxy.
Yeah.
All right, now for me, I'm going to go to page 13. This is where the Millennium Falcon flies into Terminus, and we see all kinds of ships and shuttles and Galacticus's helmet.
This is like the shipping zone.
Yeah, exactly. And we see the wheel.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the wheel 2.
Uh-huh.
But I just love all of these different kinds of ships and the Millennium Falcon racing into it.
It's
really just
cool.
so colorful. And I can see this as a black velvet poster you'd get as a kid.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. That you could color yourself. Oh, so fun.
All right, now, what is your favorite line of dialogue or narration?
Okay, I'm gonna go with Domina Tag, where she says, "A great loss deserves a greater revenge." I feel like this could be on a fortune cookie. I like it.
Yeah, but that's not something you want to tell you want to put out on Twitter because people take that and run with it.
You know what? I'm down the witch's road. All that's bad is good.
Okay.
All that's good is bad. What about you?
I'm seeing a new side of you. For me, I'm going to go to page 29, where the temple priest tells Han before he leaves, "Our thanks will travel with you, along with great relief that such a boisterous unbeliever is not residing in our midst." He gives thanks with a great jab.
Okay, you like the turn of phrase there.
Yeah. It's like, thank you, but get out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, what about your most non-Star Wars moment in this issue?
I'm going to go to page 14, where Han says, as they land and hide out on Terminus, he says, "As I recall, this port offers some of the most delightfully wicked heel cooling spots in the galaxy."
That's awful.
Harrison Ford would have thrown this back into George Lucas's face.
Yes. Similarly, I have a line about Han as well.
Oh?
Yes, on page 12. So 2 pages before Han says something about wicked heel cooling. He says when he is, let's see. Oh, he and Chewie are trying to get out of a situation in the Falcon. And Han says, now shut up and give me some championship angling of what's left of our deflector shields while I quick compute us to anywhere but here.
All right, now this is the kind of stuff that he really would have said, George, you can type this,
Yep.
but you can't say it.
That's awful. Now shut up and give me some championship angling of what's left of our deflector shields. What? He would really just say, shut up and turn up the deflectors.
Now, yeah, these are two of the most non-Star Wars moments because it just takes you right out of the story.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, but overall, fun issue. It was fun to talk about. Like, this is the best part of going over these issues is to be able to talk about it and chat with you guys and say hello there to Skywalker's Academy.
Now, I just can't wait to see what they do with the Forever Crimson. Coming next on Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics.
Skywalking through classic Marvel.
Well, that wraps up episode 487 of
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We want to thank all of our Skywalkers, those who listen every week, those who comment. We love it. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And keep on downloading. We're at 2 milestones.
Yes.
So the only way we can get there is with your help.
That's right. Now you can find us on socials. We are at Skywalking Pod, and lots of Halloween events coming this month. We're going to head to
Not Scary Farm.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be sharing some video from that on our socials.
Speaking of sharing, we share every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We go live on YouTube and we share what we've done that week. We go to a lot of Halloween events right now. Next Monday, we'll be sharing stuff we've done this week at Halloween events, and we want to hear what you have to share. So we open up the floor to you so you can come on the show and share the things that you've done or just comment in the Sky Chat. Either way, we want you there.
Yep, Skywalker's Academy, 10K subscribers next month. Let's do it. That's right. Now, are you interested in our books? Autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Parts 1 and 2, and Skywalking Through My Fandom are available now from skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. This is the only place you can get the hardcover copies of those books.
Once they're gone, they're gone. Now, do you want to support Skywalking Through Neverland? Well, consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. The Skywalking Force has access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions on the past Disney Plus shows. And we're doing Agatha All Along right now. Lots of fun, eye-opening discussions. And this bonus content begins at only $5 a month. So head over there to skywalkingforce.com and have a look at all the options. And thank you to those who are already part of the Skywalking Force.
Absolutely.
Now, we want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park or a Disney cruise, we can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Okay, Skywalkers, get ready. Get ready. We are part of the Skywalking Network.
Skynet.
Where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
The Max Effects Podcast,
Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and Today in Star Wars History. Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember to keep your two gems together. And
Neverland on Alderaan.
Okay, I need you to do your claps, sir.
That's not the way you ask me. Ask me right or don't ask me at all.
Do your clappy claps, boo. Jeff owned Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
He won it, so then he had to buy a DVD player to watch it. That's so funny.
And he won it from a Best Buy. It's like, hey, while you're here.
Yeah. Now, I feel very sorry for Luke here because in the base on Hoth, the previous base, he had the run-in with the Wampa and got his face all smashed and he was in a back-to-tank there. And then now here at this new base, he contracts Crimson Forever. Poor Poor Luke.
Well, as we find out in a few more pages, he didn't contract the virus here.
Okay.
It was out on a mission. And seeing how Luke is always on a mission, he is the one more susceptible to catching something or getting in the way of danger or a wampa's paw.
All right, you're right. Hold on. I have to take a small break. Short break.
All right.
Sorry. Talk among yourselves.
So, what you doing? Everyone is asking in the Sky Chat what you're doing. Why you had to leave. And why you didn't think about this sooner. The Sky Chat wants to know. Did you wash your hands?
I'm powdering my face.
Okay.
Why you ask me? Well, that wraps up episode 487 of Skywalk.
I almost said classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
All right, here we go. Thanks for sticking with us, and we hope you enjoyed that.
Hour 48 minutes.
I know. All right, we're going to put...
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.